Hello everyone, welcome back to PythaVibes YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to cover string methods part 2. In the first part of string methods video, I have covered the methods which are going to give us integers like 1 or -1, otherwise any value errors exceptions. So that is how we have covered the part 1 video. In part 2 video, I'll be going to cover the methods which are going to give us boolean values, either true or false. So let's consider an input as s equals to Python tutorial, and I'll be using these methods on this string to check whether it will give us true or false. So let's start with the first method, print s dot ends with L or not. So basically this ends with will check whether a specified character or a substring is there at the end of the input string or not. If it is at the end of the input string, then it will give us true, otherwise it will return us false. So for now I have taken this method and I am checking whether this input string is ends with L or not. Since we already know that Python tutorial is being ending with the L, so we should get true as our output. Let me save it and run it. We could see that output is true. Let me give any other character which is not at the end of this. So I'll just write tutorials, but yes is not there in this input string, so it should give us false. Let me run it and check. It is giving us false. Same way it will work for starts with, but a specified string should be at the start of the input string. So if we check in this way, for the starts with method we will get false here because this input string is not starting with this tutorial substring. So let me run it and check. This is not starting with tutorials. Let me give capital P here and check for the output. Yes, it is starting with capital P. Otherwise you can also give the substring like Python, entire word. So it is giving me the true because this particular input string or this, you can consider, even sometimes you can consider some sentences also. If that sentence or a string is starts with some input string, some substring or the character, whatever you wanted to check, if it is at the start of this sentence or the input string, then we will get true, otherwise it will return as false. So that is how ends with and starts with will work. Let's move on to the next method, which is all num. So when we use is all num, it will check whether this input string has all the numerical things and alphabet letters or not. So when we include us any special characters, then it will return us false here. Let me remove this string and I'll save it and check the output. Since we have included special character at the rate, that is giving us false. After removing the at the rate and checking, if I would check this, I will still get false because there is a space here between Python and tutorial. If I would remove and save it, then we will get true because special characters like space, at the rate, dollar, hash, these all symbols will not work. It will only consider the alphabet letters, otherwise any numbers should be there. So then only it will return as true, otherwise it will return as false. Let's move on to the next method, which is alpha. So there shouldn't be any numbers or any special characters, nothing. It should only contain alphabet letters. Then only it will give us true, otherwise it will return as false. So let me save this and run it. We will get true because we don't have any special characters or the numbers other than the alphabet letters. So let me give space here and check it. So we will get false because space is a special character here. And move on to the next method, which is lower. Is lower is just simply we can understand that if this string is, all the characters in this string are lowercase letters or not. If it is lower in the lowercase letters, then only we will get true, otherwise we will get false. So this is how is lower will work. Let me give all the letters as lowercase letters and check it. So this will give us true here. And let's move on to the is upper. Same way, opposite to lower, we will see the upper method, is upper. So if all the characters in the input string are in uppercase letters, then only we will get true, otherwise it will return as false. So right now these all characters were in lowercase letters, so that's the reason we got false when we check with the is upper method. Let me consider Python tutorial, still it is not having all the characters in uppercase letters. If I would consider like Python, then this will give us true because all the letters, all the characters in the input string are in uppercase letters. So that we got true as our output. Let's move on to is title. So is title will check whether all the words in this string are having are in the form of title case letters or not. So each word it will check and it will check for the validation. Like if we have to say it's in title case letters, so in each word only the first letter should be the uppercase letter, rest all should be lowercase letters. So right now in Python, capital P is the first letter and that is in uppercase letters. In the second word tutorial, in the tutorial the first letter is T and T is in the uppercase letter. So that is the reason both these words, whatever the words we have in this sentence, are in title case letters. So then we will get true here. Even if we enter any, even if we make it any second character or any of the characters into uppercase letters other than the first letter in a word, then we will get as false. So let me check it and run the output. So we got false as our output. So this is how we will check with the this kind of input strings. All these methods will work on this and it will give us Boolean values, either true or false. Let's move on to the other methods which will work on number related and some special characters. So let's take these as our methods. So we have other methods in the Python string methods. These are the methods. So till now we have covered all these methods and let's move on to the next method, is decimal. So is decimal will check for if we have any decimal numbers in this or not. So if it is a whole number, then it will return us true, otherwise it will return us false. So let me save it and run it. Right now we should see true here. And even if I give any small decimal point also, then 0.9, this is a float. So if I would give it, then also I will get an error, sorry, not an error, it will return as false. So this is how decimal, is decimal will work. And let's move on to the is digit. So is digit will is like if the numbers are in range of 0 to 9 and if there are no any special characters or any other alphabet letters and the number should be 0 to 9, then only it will give us true, otherwise it will be false. Let me save it and run it. We got true. And even if I would include any float, if I would make it as a float point, then it won't gives me true, it will give me false here. So we got false. And is numeric. Is numeric is also same. They should only contain the numeric values like 124, 1234 will give me true here because all are in numerical values. So if I would give ABC, then it won't work. It will give me false. And next move on to the other methods. Before we move on to the other methods, firstly, what is the difference between is decimal, is digit and is numeric? So to know that, is decimal is like it supports only the decimal numbers and is digit will support decimal, subscripts, superscripts. Like sometimes in maths we used to write 2 square, 5 square and logarithm also we used to write, right? So those kind of subscripts and superscripts it will accept, it will support is digit. Coming to the is numeric, it supports all the type of digits, subscripts, superscripts, Roman numbers and currency numerator. So all these numbers it will support. So this is the main difference between is decimal, is digit and is numeric in Python. Let's move on to the other methods in Python. Let's move on to the other methods in Python. Is ASCII. If you are able to convert any character into ASCII, if we have an ASCII value, then search value we can consider it will return us true, otherwise it will return us false. Because if we consider any German or any Japanese language, then they might be using a different kind of characters to represent or write their own language. So the such case it will return us false because we don't have a ASCII values for this, for those letters in Python. So that is why we will get false. So 1 2 3 4 ABC, these all things, even special characters, these all have a ASCII letters. So that is the reason we will get true here. And even emojis and all cannot have any ASCII value. So such type of input will give us false. Next, move on to is identifier. Is identifier is like in Python, we have certain rules for to define any identifier. So we cannot start with numbers like 1 2 3 where name. So this is how I have given, and I will check whether it will give me correct, I mean it will give me true or false. So since numbers shouldn't be at the start, like a variable name shouldn't start with numbers, so that is the reason it will give me false here. Let me run and say check it. We got false. And if I would remove it here, and 1 2 I removed, and if I would check this, I will get true, because this var name is a perfect name for an identifier in Python and is printable. So this is also kind of like the input, whatever we have it, if it is printable format, then that will give us true, otherwise it will give us false. If we are able to print it, then is printable will give us true, otherwise it will give us false. Is space. Is space is like if we have all the characters are space, if there are no characters, I mean if the entirely input string has all the spaces, all these characters are spaces only, so in such case only this is space will give us true, otherwise it will give us false. So right now I made entire string as spaces, so that is the reason I got true. Even if I would include a single letter in the input, then it will give me false. Let me check it. It is giving me false. So that's all guys. These are the main methods which will give us Boolean values, either true or false. So just remember these methods. Ends with, starts with, is alum, is alpha, is lower, is upper, is title. So these are all the methods we can use on the some sort of input string. Input can be a string format, and it can be a combination of digits also. But is decimal, is digit, is numeric, these are completely used with the numbers. And there are some special methods like is ASCII, is identifier, is printable, is space. So these all having various conditions. So this is how we can easily learn the string methods in Python. So I hope you liked this video. Kindly like, share and subscribe to PythoVibes YouTube channel. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.